The year of 2026 begins with a trio of new signings. They're not the most impressive centre-back options, but I needed temporary backups because one of my Australians didn't fit in and was sold to free up an import slot. And a warm welcome back to the striker from last season who was recalled from loan because we weren't playing him properly. I'm immediately slapped with a message about our cup opponents, and I make a note that we've got shit luck this year. It isn't until after we have thrashed that I realise that this was the Super Cup and not the FA Cup. I could have removed this mistake from the script entirely, but that's not who I am. The league season preview comes in, it looks interesting to say the least, but I have to keep reminding myself that last season was an anomaly, and I'm still the manager that inherited a club that was 70 million in debt. We are almost halfway to paying that off by now, so maybe if I hold out until then we can actually start to shine. Unfortunately, our opening match of the season was against the incumbent league winners. In back-to-back matches we conceded 8 goals. Once the real cup draw happens, we're pitted against one of the top second division sides, as is tradition. We quickly pick up our first win of the season with a gorgeous debut goal from our loanee right back, and I gotta say, on the rare occasions that my players hit them, we damn sure hit them. I then caught a glimpse of social media chatting shit about one of my top talents, which prompted concern that something had happened to him off the field. There was no follow-up to this. This concern was then met with an uncomfortable draw against one of the league's lower teams. We conceded back-to-back draws, except the second one I'm actually happy with, because not only were we a man down, but we saved a 98th minute penalty to deny them the win. That draw also came with the happy news that my new striker had finally ended a goal drought that I didn't realise he was on. This short string of draws is ended by one of the top teams in a match where we had the lead. I wore a very sad face that day. We take a 1-0 lead before our breakout left back from last season receives a straight red, and despite being a man down and dominated in possession, we bravely fight to score 3 more goals and keep a clean sheet. Let's go DL Pro. Let's go straight into a late penalty 1-0 loss that is, and in further disappointment, this was not a positive display for my boys in the cup. Granted we won, but we should not be surrendering a 2-goal lead against lower division teams all being dominated statistically like this. On the other hand, the board is giving me money. Hello? I don't even know what I do with this. Does it automatically go out to pay player staff wages or something? Then in a valiant effort when down 2 goals at half time, we pulled back to make it 2-2, only to concede the winner in the 81st. A loss that was far more promising than what we witnessed the week after. On a whim, I start to look into board requests, thinking we might be able to find the right amount of money for a facilities upgrade somewhere, when instead I notice I can put in a request for a senior affiliate, so I gamble. I win. As I wait for a response, we pick up the win in a 6-pointer with this incredible late strike. We then proceed to another round in the cup where I demonstrate my speciality, ending the dream run of second division clubs. Until we run out of second division clubs to face. We proceed to concede a nasty result against one of the league's top teams, but considering that Ji Chun was on a goal drought at the start of the year, I'll happily take this if it gives him a brace to his stats. And that was when my scouts notified me of the existence of one Philippe Iono from Cameroon. And I gotta say, this is possibly the most bizarre looking attributes page I've ever seen. I must have him. Now after all that distraction, I'm finally confronted with the candidates for our senior affiliate. The best deals came from Al Ahly and Stuttgart. The former were offering us $1,000 more than the latter, and the option to loan players from them for free. However, after a quick glance at their squad, I turned this down as any player from them would take up one of my limited import slots, and I highly doubted they'd be willing to give us a player who would actually be worth said slot. Also, I just have a personal bias for Germany, so I'll make a marketing deal with them. It was at the point of accepting the partnership that I realised in this save, Stuttgart have managed to pick up European silverware in the form of the Europa Conference League. So good on them. With this deal in place, I then bitterly succumbed to a late defeat and a thrashing at the hands of a league leader, and my academy left back is starting to draw a lot of attention, so I offered him an improved contract. It was very heartwarming to see this report on his decision to re-sign, and this happy news is rewarded with a dominant win and another brace for Ji Chun, and then a 1-0 loss to another top team. And I don't know if I'm imagining it, but even though we keep picking up losses against these top teams, it's starting to feel like we're more competitive than we ever were before. I think we generally are improving one step at a time. Yeah, we're losing, but it's not nearly as bad as it was a few seasons ago, right? At the other end of the table, a late penalty from our god completes the double over our former Australian centre-back. Then, back against the top teams, a late extra time set piece denied 3 points for the incumbent champions. Redemption after the opening weeks of the season. A draw that was followed by the rumour of a tycoon wanting to invest in us. A draw that is then followed by yet another draw. And then we get a glimpse of how truly awful our defender can be at times, a disastrous display that is followed by our first cup loss in over a year. This is what it looks like when we draw top flight teams. And speaking of draws, this one was a relief. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Confirmation that we are in the Asian Champions League. I didn't like our odds. Oh, and by the way, remember Philippe Oyono? We ended up buying him, and he grabbed his debut goal for us very, very quickly. And we proceed to another game where we concede a 2-goal lead before being absolutely destroyed. But we somewhat bring it back with a 2-2 draw that absolutely should have been a win if only we didn't concede so many damn pens. As expected, our debut in the ACL was a nightmare. We are then considered fortunate to grab a win despite conceding a late own goal. And that win is immediately followed with perhaps the only ACL fixture we could realistically win as we face a team that is currently 8th in the Hong Kong League. Disaster. But, well, domestically we seem to be doing well, to the point where it looks like we've secured our survival again. I'm then notified that all the teams better than us have released their unwanted youth players, so I do what I did on the lower league Germany save. I offer them all trials for cheap scouting. Spoiler warning, none of them were worth keeping. And it's a damn good thing that we're already safe because this one hurt. Then when our own youth intake comes, I'm actually pretty happy with this. I see a lot of potential in some of these guys, and I'm truly excited to fast track Wang Peng to the senior squad. He looks like he's ready for it already. Remember that nasty loss that we received right before the distraction of youth? It happened again, and then again in the ACL. Then the second to last league game week was spicy as fuck. Look at all those cards. Our last league match of the season must have been absolutely incredible to watch. When season reviews come in, I'm told that one of my midfielders somehow almost won the top goal scorer of the board. He missed out by only 2 goals, and I'm just like, really? One of ours? We've been scoring this many? How? All that remains for the year now are the remaining ACL games, and we finally pick up points against the representative from Hong Kong before another solid defeat to Osaka to seal our fate. Our campaign ends with the new year, and all that remains is the home match against the South Korean representative, and oh boy, we held firm. We went down swinging, and I can honestly say that I am proud. So that's that. Our first foray into international football, and now everything is returning back to normal for 2027. But we have definitely made steps forward, and I honestly think that we could start showing signs of being a contender within the next 3 years. Especially as our finances for this season look like this. We're going to make it. We're going to beat the debt. Surely.